welcome back to another episode of F-Zero Ending It All. And I also find the song I just played, Ancient Missa for Maximum Velocity, to be a little depressing. Aside from Game Over A from GP Legend. Last time, Rick Wheeler actually discovered the secrets left behind by his girlfriend Haruka, as well as transforming into Miss Killer. Meanwhile, Falcon has actually discovered that it was Black Shadow causing all this mayhem, but it was actually Deathborn in disguise. And if you guys have played F-Zero GX, you would know who Deathborn is and how intimidating he is. So, Rick Wheeler no longer pilots the Dragon Bird, but rather pilots the advanced version of the Dragon Bird EX. And I must admit, it looks pretty cool. I wish I could use it in Climax, but it's difficult to unlock. Almost impossible. So, let's get this going, shall we? Alright, lap 17. Tinsel was waiting in a massive busy lobby. This one belonged to a place which was believed to be the top secret. Stuart actually showed Rick once after Jody was injured in a lethal race. He promised him to not reveal it to anything about it. It was there when he found out she was a cyborg, and the location remained to be elusive against any possible threat. This was the only safe haven in mind since Rodney's hospital was invaded by Dark Million. It's supposed to be a place for cybernetic research, but Rodney's associates fled here for the sake of him and Tanaka. Rodney has been taken to an ICU and remained there for a few days. He hasn't woken up, not even during the escape from Darkstar. Tanaka was also there at a cot next to him, though he, too, was still in a coma since the crash during the semifinals. Meanwhile, Tinsel was alerted by Rick that it was time to visit the patients. The security guard unlocked the quarantine room using an ID card. The scanner allowed them entry as the light turned green on the pad, and opening the door just a mere crack. They slowly went inside with Rick leading the way. It was completely silent, and all they heard were monitors beeping as they examined their pulses. To Rick, he hadn't seen anything like it since he was in cold sleep, as well as seeing Jody as a half-robot. The two pilots sat between Rodney and Tanaka's bed, somber and worried. They couldn't believe that Dark Million was able to inflict so much damage from within. The body was one thing, but the mind was a completely different and fragile can of worms. He had the most guilt when he looked back at the young physicist. This was all our fault. If we hadn't forgotten the formula and kept it safe for you, this wouldn't have happened. You probably wouldn't be under your dad's or Deathborn's mercy. Please, pull yourself together and find your way out of the darkness. We all need you. He hardly moved as he continued to gaze at his empty shell, accepting his hands as he caressed. Tinsel's hopelessly closed her eyes. How could there be a way to revive them without Stuart's medicine? Suddenly Rick's hand began to warm. It was a soothing sensation. Then he startled as it began to glow a vermilion shade. He looked and his palm brightened. Tinsel saw it as well. Rick! This was nearly the same color you had when you busted out of that container. Why is it doing this? Memory came back when he was touching her after she succumbed to the intense dizziness when she learned the booster fire. Remembering how it awakened her and healed her headache. Maybe. He put it on Ronnie's forehead and the thermal energy became hotter as it illuminated. Finally the light dissipated, then Rick removed his hands. What did you do, Rick? I guess it has something to do with the reactor mite. I remember the same warming sensation happened to me. Then I felt my body ignite as it grew stronger. I was able to escape and break the trains Deathborn had on me. This was the same way I was able to heal you, Tinsel. So I thought this could also work on Rodney, maybe Tanaka. Wow, that's amazing. So you're some kind of healer? think so. If a reactor might have light, this could work the opposite way from a dark one, whereas it could give a person strength and drain it. He knew all too well, although he was very uncertain. Both of them didn't want millions of people to take advantage over his newfound skill. They waited silently and patiently until they saw someone's hands quiver. Then a weak moan escaped. "Oh, Dad, is that you?" "No, it's us." "Rick? Tinsel? Where's my dad?" "We couldn't save him. We were only able to get you out. There wasn't much time as Rick's dumped our million. So, he managed to have you instead. Captain Falcon helped us. 3 of us escaped from Darkstar, and he revealed he was actually Deathborn in disguise." "Who's he?" He explained it to the bounty hunter's secrets. "I can't believe this. Deathborn was Black Shadow so he wouldn't be spotted while participating in the races. And my dad told me about the horrific accident my grandpa was in when I was young. That was really him." "Wait, did you win the championship?" "We don't know. Not even the committee is certain. As far as they know, it was either me or Deathborn in the Black Bull. He then took me in after I crashed along the course, thanks to the 2 reactor lights." "He had 2 booster fires? How?" "His machine was stronger than mine. And that was why Falcon recommended to give Tinsel's might to me. Lucy, Clank, EAD, and the Gazelle made some enhancements on the Dragonbird. They called it the Dragonbird EX and has similar stats to the Comet now. Though I may not use the Ice Beam since the might has been given away." "I see. What should we do with him?" "Rick suggested you should try and revive him the same way." "Not sure if I could. Sometimes it takes a lot out of me." "Perhaps we should dine first, so you could build up your strength. I could see why the process is exhausting." "Okay, I guess we should take a little break. I'm sorry your dad's still up there. He must be anxious. I'm afraid for his life. Who knows since he's been under Deathborn's thrall for too long. And Jody, you and Falcon are the only ones that can save them. Please find Jody and my father and help them recover." "I can't guarantee they return as themselves, but I promise I will defeat Deathborn with all my heart." "Thanks, Rick. I know you're our last hope. Tinsel was right about you." They soon left, and the guard told Rodney he was awake as himself. His co-workers had never been any happier. It was only a matter of time before Rick would be able to regain his lost strength to heal the comatose Tanaka. After a few dragging hours, Tinsel saw the junior steward after he was examined by X-rays, MRIs, and EEGs. All his vitals seemed normal. However, there was a slight glaring detail. "What happened?" "Just a concussion. Though it's a miracle as to how I recovered." Indeed it was. Because the formula was sabotaged by Dr. Stewart, Rodney relied on Rick to heal Tanaka. Later he did. Unfortunately, the director didn't come around as soon as Rodney. By the time he did, Tanaka was actually his better self. He seemed to have a more serious, stone-cold personality rather than his meeker, cowardly version. Just a way to combine GX with GP Legend. He couldn't thank Rick enough for saving him. The last things he remembered were searching for the reactor mites, enhancing the machines and the Death Soldiers with Clash, then participating with Pico at the Deathwind course. He didn't remember the accident that occurred, and he found out the winner hadn't been decided after the championship. Plus there was Deathborn, which he barely recognized as he kept hearing about him through the Federation. He actually thought those were mere rumors when he heard of the missing pilots. He actually recognized Tinsel, but he only recalled seeing a glimpse of her. He never put 2 and 2 together until now. And once again, takes place in Falcon's Followers, specifically Chapter 5, Save Jody of GX. I did remember seeing Tinsel, though. The way he described it, Tinsel realized that was Slifer the Sky Dragon, Yuki's own Egyptian god. She wasn't there in Battle City, but she did see her for herself as the kid transformed into the Pharaoh and won the pursuit to aid the Blue Falcon. It was a decent choice, since it was the fastest out of the trio. He lost consciousness again until the power plant exploded. He awakened seeing the Falcon, along with Slifer, who was reunited in Jody's arms. He wobbled as he escorted her back to the Wasp. The White Cat was obliterated, even his robotic companion J-Love won, which, of course, symbolizes Jody. She, however, took the wheel as she absorbed Tanaka going in and out. When they went to a hospital nearby, the head doctor stated that Tanaka had a concussion in his frontal lobe. Woke up within a month, and that explained why his personality changed for the worst in Jody's and Tinsel's opinions. Damage to the frontal lobe would cause a person to have a loss of attention, judgment, and decision-making skills. Patients could also change in personality as well as display excessive actions accompanied with emotions. According to Rodney, this fitted perfectly. Thankfully to him, he had a lesser impact than Tanaka. So, what are you and Wheeler going to do now? We're planning to rescue Jody and Stewart. They're still up in Darkstar. I'm sure Deathborn will demand for the reactor mites. Of course. That's his main objective. Just because the year's Grand Prix is over doesn't mean he'd stop at nothing. Wheeler and Falcon must be extremely careful. We can't let him accomplish his dream. Dream? You mean incinerating the universe instantly? Yes, but only if he managed to collect all 6 reactor mites. So far, he has the 3 dark ones. He's also building a reactor until then. I can't imagine what it'll do. It must be stopped at all costs. Sure thing, Tanaka. Even though I hardly see you at my office, I'm sure you'll be of good use. With my permission to invite your allies to your cause. Consider it done, sir. She was enthusiastic that Leon, Beastman, and the rest of the gang would have their shot in defeating Dark Million other than racing. Goody. I'll be back at headquarters ASAP. You best prepare yourselves. While the director was resting, Rick and Tinsel told their compatriots. Everyone was thrilled both Tanaka and Rodney were back in business, as well as astonished that Rick was able to heal both of them by the power of his reactor mites. It's not just the reactor mites that made him so powerful. Hey, what do you mean by that? Never mind that. We need to develop a strategy to infiltrate Darkstar and retrieve Dr. Stewart and Jody. I agree. What do you have in mind, Falcon? The Falcon Flyer can lead us there, but we need some special weapons to assist us. You remember Yuki and Joey, the 2 young courageous duelists that helped me and Tinsel under our past missions? Those you just sent to Lightning? Of course. But how can they help us? I doubt the monsters could survive in space. Oh, they don't have to use just dual monsters. They also have cards they can use defensively as well. In addition, they have some trap cards that can be helpful. Trap cards? You'll see soon enough, Rick. They'd shown me what they were capable of as we ran a couple drills. Even though they aren't F-Zero racers, their skills are impressive and unique. Are you sure about this? I'm certain. They were able to help us get out of tricky situations. He recalled all those times, from the bloody chain, balancing the machine with a detached bomb, to alerting the presence of Deathborn from the Millennium Puzzle, to standing up against the Creator Ghosts. Never underestimate someone who has existed for 5,000 years. That put everyone in shock. Where are they now? They should be near the Kingly course. We should head there now before Deathborn makes his move. I'll probably get Bert and Clank. They could be of use to us. Good plan, Rick. I think we'll practice our plan as soon as we get together. But someone's gotta watch over the base. I believe that's where I believe that's where Tanaka might stand. I fear the worst for Andy, as he had cheated death. Roy should be a valuable asset too. All right, so by the afternoon we should be on our way. She investigated the deserted track. The only things that stood out were the active landmines littered over the wide curve, as well as a few burning craters from destroyed ones. There were no signs of Yuki or Joey. Not a single trace or clue caught her eye, not even the dual discs or the massive decks, nor the sacred puzzle the kid wears. She made the first round. She decided to exit the cockpit to take a closer look. A lot of times they would hang out in a guardrail as a safe portion. There was still nothing left behind. Tinsel! Jody! What the hell are you doing here? Where's Yuki and Joey? The captain summarized that they saved her. She once posed as a damsel in distress with them, saying her from a horde of robots. Death soldiers were coated in green and golden metal. Those robots possessed the G diffuser system powered by Tanaka. Since he worked on a mechanic, he was just as promising as Clash. Thus he made these drones more advanced to retrieve the reactor mites. Death soldiers piloted their own machines known as the Hell Hoverers, which had an orange-yellow appearance and a poor body strength, but a decent boost in grip. Their crafts were round and had dome-like heads for the cockpits, and the toothy smiles, blank eyes, and the button noses were located in the front. Various monsters were used, such as Karibo combined with Multiply, which made a few of the storms explode. Joey's flame swordsman, equipped with a legendary sword, was used as a melee fighter, slicing any enemy that crossed their path. Yuki's dark magician girl assisted him with her spells using her wand. His top hat card made her abilities more powerful. Actually, I did a lot of research to put this together. I'm not very good with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not like Pokemon. Fortunately, it wasn't enough since they were agile and swift to make up for their weakness. Joey summons the baby dragon in conjunction with the time wizard, which thus, turned him into the 1,000-year dragon. Teamed up with Slifer, putting an end to the final wave and leaving none of those goons behind. The pair were unfortunate since they attacked in a safe location rather than where the landmines were. As soon as their backs were turned, however, they got stunned by Joey's ray gun, shocking the guys on contact. Finally, they were taken to another location. Want to save the duelists? Then all I need is for you to help me pull the trigger on one simple person. One simple super arrow. That's all you have to do. Stared at her, she stared at her mouth agape. She was never a fan of the pseudo superhero, and and she did recall how Stewart described him the Zero in F-Zero. The killing super arrow with a specially powered bullet would rip from Mrs. Arrow's heart. She knew Rick was already one to suffer such a horrible fate, knowing a puppet contaminate Haruka's form and losing everything he cared for thanks to Zoda. She even thought back to all the evil Dark Million visited upon her and her allies. With a powerful unforeseen backhand, she cracked Jody's jaw. She yelped and dropped to her knee. She couldn't believe what she saw. Blood on her knuckle. She glared up at Tinsel. I can't believe you! You want me to kill a married man just so I can save my friends? You're asking me to do the impossible! You knew Rick suffered just as much when he lost everything after 150 years. And now you want me to decide who gets happiness and who doesn't? That's no one's job! The task force with you? I'm surprised you're still even going this far. You know what was my team. If it's your team, I quit! He angrily ripped off the badge and threw it toward her. The emblem on it wasn't the usual golden color, but rather she sprayed paint in black, symbolizing corruption. How dare you call it a team? It's always been just you and everyone else. And And those in Dark Million, you physically harmed others even when they were injured. I saw you inflict a lot of pain, especially to Rick, countless times. How dare you call yourself a leader? Now you're resorting to this? What would your brother think of you now? You're not a heroine. You are a disgrace. Bert was still revealed as Jody's lost brother, Andy Summer. With the real revelation, she froze. It felt as though something was trying to come to her. She tried to fight it as sensation, but in the end, she grabbed Tinsel and threw her off, nearly hitting the comet pilot in the face. With a daring finger at Tinsel, "Stop fighting something so useless! Stop trying to trick me! I will not be taken from my duties to Black Shadow!" She turned around and ran, but it didn't end there. Tinsel threw a sharp kick to Jody's side. Then she followed up with a flurry of strikes, each alternating with varying sounds. They were muffled by her rage. She eventually found her hand and held by Leon! Tinsel! That's enough! She's still... She remembered Bert a second time and sighed. She relaxed herself. As soon as Leon let her go, she threw one last punch across Jody's face, one that left a red circle on her left cheek. "Now we can go." "What has gotten into you? How would Bert feel about this? His sis bloodied and battered. She captured the duelists. She snuck to the course where she knew they would be, and tricked them as they were saving her from a swarm of death soldiers. Deathborn set up the whole thing. And then she wanted me to murder Super Arrow with this." He showed Leon the bullet. "I quitted the task force, Leon. It's like she wanted others to suffer for her personal gain. And that's all she ever does!" As all the painful memories flashed into her mind, she burst into tears. He stood there. He knew he smelt vile, and the odor was intense, but he had no idea it was coming from Jody. She was enlisted as an assassin for Dark Million, just like Miss Killer. If she wasn't Bert's sister, I would have killed her. I know. I knew you had a grudge against Jody for quite a while, but she's still Bert's sibling. You wouldn't want this. She deserves to suffer, yes, but she can't be slewed. Believe me, I've experienced this as I lost my parents when I was still a pup. All she needs now is treatment." You're right. You're right. We need to go get Rodney so we can cure her. Or perhaps Rick. But Yuki, Joey... Don't worry about them for the moment. We have to help her and Stuart. It's the only way to win. We made it this far. We have nearly every single member recovered, including Tanaka. Don't let this all be in vain. I'd seen my people lose their way. You remembered how his homeworld was overrun by war. Thanks, Leon. I think you may need to keep an eye on her while I get Rick and the others. Gotcha. The anthropomorphic got the duelists being tied up in the epicenter of the minefield. There were several active detonators just waiting to explode if anyone was careless enough. As Leon was making his way back with the space angler, he carefully drove through and then turned loose the hapless duo. Rick saw the silver comet. He was heading toward the track. Tinsel? Butler and Clank were on their way using the Stadsred Gazelle. Unfortunately, the Falcon House would have to be out of commission until the operation is successful. Bert hasn't guaranteed it would be in business again. He would like to reunite with Jody, but he took Rick as a precaution. Tinsel! She was very distraught as she told Rick what happened with Jody, her quitting the squad. His face almost fell. Tinsel? It's not your fault. It was mine for abandoning the task force. Rick, she just couldn't find the right words. He looked deeply in her face. Tinsel, take my hand. Come back to me. I won't tell anyone you dropped out of the task force. What you did to Jody. Let Bert handle it. She was about to emerge from the opaque cockpit, and into the light was him. She went to take his offer. But then a tractor beam covered her in the comet. Ah! Rick! Tinsel! He reached out a hand, but he touched nothing but thin air. Then there was an enormous translucent figure of a deformed black shadow. He was shocked to see his face being halfway destroyed and preceding bone. He let out a belly laugh. Rick Wheeler, we meet again. Why do you have her? What are you going to do with her? She's safe here with me, Wheeler. You and Falcon best come to retrieve her. In order to have her alive, you must both surrender all your reactor mites. Oh, and let's not forget about you. You alone can determine the fate of the galaxy and your friends. You would either work for me or cross me. Your choice. I'll stand by for you in Falcon's arrival. I may not have exterminated him in front of millions of fans like I wanted to, but I could always strike fear into them and every living being in the whole universe. Yet still you've the key to prevent this calamity. Farewell, Wheeler. I will be waiting. The Darkstar left Earth, leaving him as desperate as ever. Tinsel! Leon's eyes perked up. Yuki and Joey were in tow. They left Jody behind for obvious reasons. He followed the distress to the location of Black Shadow's massive spacecraft. Oh no! Not him again! They eventually saw the image dissipate and the civilian machine race to Rick! Leon! Yuki! Joey! They never saw him this heartbroken before. Carrie began to whimper. What happened? It was Black Shadow, was it? They gazed at the massive spacecraft that just emerged behind the exosphere. What the hell is that? I thought he was from the underworld. I thought so too, Yug. How is he also an alien? He's after the reactor mites, and he's holding Tinsel prisoner in exchange for them. We have to help her. Right. He headed back to the base and alerted everyone. Falcon was enraged by Deathborn's actions from capturing Tinsel to tainting Jody's mind. Then we have no choice. We must head to Darkstar. It's the only thing we can do. But Yuki and Joey's dual monsters might not fight in space. Don't sweat it, Lucy. We can always use other ways. But taking the Falcon flare may be an easy target for Deathborn. We need multiple targets, a distraction if we need to. Rick and Leon explained Black Shadow's Deathborn shell rather than just the Emperor of Brutality himself. This didn't faze the guys too much since they were all too familiar with him either way. I'll take up the call to arms. They looked at the woman with Bert beside her. The members of the task force were ecstatic. Jody! Captain! They all surrounded her and told her how much she was missed. However, Rick, amongst others, weren't very pleased. The crowd eventually separated. Bert was the one who brought her back, and she also remembered her dad, too. Her father, Mason, was the inventor of the G-diffuser anti-gravity system. She began training for the F-Zero competition. That when he died, his ship crashed during a flight to the Linoid system. Tanaka actually studied under Mason at the University of Io, or Io, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. After he passed, he vowed to protect her until that fateful night at Lightning. She, however, turned his offer down since she was considered to be Miss Independent. They used to work with the same unit until Tanaka was promoted to be director of the Elite Mobile Task Force while Jody was captain. There's nothing better than brotherly love and the power of family. Yeah, until some people have been shitted on so badly. After what you did to Tinsel back there. Now she's been taken and you expect forgiveness? Urgh. Leon, she just got her memories back. Surely her mind may have some slight traces of the corruption Deathborn bestowed upon her. But we need all the help we can possibly get. After all, Dr. Stewart is still in Darkstar. We need to save whoever we can, together. We are the universe's only hope. That didn't convince Rick and the others. They were hurt. Some even got a bad first impression, while all Rick cared for was Tinsel. Regardless on how you all feel toward her and the situation, we should all take Falcon instead. I assure you, Jody won't try to backstab us again. We need to use the Galaxy Runner along with the Falcon Flyer. We must head to Darkstar before the reactor is active. Deathborn won't carry out his dreams since we're the only ones that stands in his way. Besides, how can one man who can't save one person bring hope to the universe? It's an astronomical responsibility. Unless we help him. Then it's settled. Let's go for it, Jody. Right. I owe you that much, Falcon. She went to the central control room and activated her own personal space cruiser from underwater. Eventually, Yuki and Joey's confusion subsided, yet they were both dumbfounded. What's so special about you, Rick? I don't know. The Galaxy Runner is ready. All the pilots looked outside and saw a dark gray cruiser emerge from the depths. I actually saw it once in the anime, in the English dubs. But you can see it again in Japanese dubs, but it's very brief until you go to the later episodes. The Mobile Task Force's logo gleamed within the middle of the hotel floor. Holy cow! Never seen anything like it. Jody, this is by far the most amazing thing you have ever done. It's been too long since I've last seen this baby. Yes, too long. There's no other time but now, brother, especially since Wheeler is our only chance for victory. That is, if he doesn't get tainted again. He and Falcon must prevail. Let's go. There's no turning back. I'm coming too. I'd seen the Galaxy Runner. I guess you're going after Deathborn? Yes, we are. How do you feel, Tanaka? I can't complain, now that the entire solar system is at risk. There's no time for embracing the horror. Glad to see you again, Tanaka. More with it than ever before. Oh, I couldn't have been this way if it had been for Rodney here. I'm coming too. My father is depending on me. I wouldn't call myself his son if I were to cower now. I could also heal those nasty wounds. Thanks. Let's go. We cannot wait. Yuki volunteered to stay aboard the flyer while Joey chose to take the runner. It's gonna be great to work with Falcon again. And so both ships embarked on their perilous one-way journey into outer space, pursuing both Tinsel and Deathborn. Thus, this will begin a new chapter. Destination Darkstar. And here's the music for that. Facts enlisted above were actually true because of the impact of the frontal lobe. Kind of reminds me of Jan Barry, as one collision could drastically alter someone's personality and motor skills dramatically. Which, if you've seen Dead Man's Curve, you would know. Yes, the enemy was set before GX, but in this fic, I hope I made a decent explanation as to why Tanaka was so different by comparison. I didn't like the soldier anchors. They look very similar to Soda's death anchor. They have similar stats. I felt they were lacking originality. Again. Besides, they already made the hyper death anchor. They were lacking originality, so there was no reason to make another replica. Yes, it was a nice idea for the drones to be F-Zero pilots, but they should have made something way more decent, which is why they were based off of Robotnik's egg pawns, the original ones, and thus I just created the Hell Hoverers. It might be a good homage since I like the design, and they look similar to the robots. Death soldiers are such. Why do they have to be bastardized like that? Also, the last part was from the anime, when she was captured by Deathborn, only there was Haruka abducted by Black Shadow. The duel with the Death Soldiers was pretty difficult to make. So this would begin a 3-part story arc called Destination Darkstar. Task Force had finally recruited Tanaka and Jody, and are now on their way to save Tinselme Universe from Deathborn's evil plot. Godspeed, guys. Alright, this is the Ecron Writer signing out. Next time, we will start the 3-part story arc, Destination Darkstar. I'll see you then.